رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي واجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي. Okay, before I come to the actual topic of this video, let me just remind you why I'm making these videos and what are these videos. I call them linguistic miracles of the Qur'an because what's a miracle? Something that is out of the ordinary, that normal human beings cannot do, they cannot perform. So what I'm showing you right now is one angle of it. Like Qur'an has many miracles, linguistic, scientific, all of that makes it miraculous. But I'm just showing you one angle of even the linguistic miracle. I'm just showing you one angle of it right now, the context of it, and showing you that human speech or human literature cannot come close to it. The power of the words of the Qur'an are so unique that human beings cannot come even close to it, producing something like this, not even one chapter. And the reason I'm making these videos is so that Muslim Ummah, of course the non-Muslims as well, but particularly the Muslim Ummah, they come out of this inherited faith. What is inherited faith? Meaning you were born within a Muslim family. But why are you a Muslim? The reason behind it. I want this inherited faith to turn into a proof or evidence-based faith. Something that is backed by evidence and proof, and it becomes conviction, complete conviction in the heart. That can only happen if you have ground solid proofs with you. So that's why I'm making this video. Now coming to this example, where I'll be showing you the linguistic brilliance, the miracle of the Qur'an, comparing two verses. One of them, Surah Baqarah, chapter 2, verse 126, and one of them way ahead in the Qur'an, chapter 14, verse 35. Now both these verses talk about Ibrahim alayhi salam, Prophet Abraham, making a supplication to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the context shows, the words show that these are du'as made in two different situations. In Surah Baqarah verse 126, if I put the translation, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, إذ قال إبراهيم رب اجعل هذا بلدا آمنا. And when Abraham said, my Lord, make this a secure city. Meaning, he's standing in the place where we now have Makkah, but at that time there was no city, it was just a barren desert, and he pointed to it saying, make this, the language suggests, make this desert a deserted place and turn it into a secure city, right? So right now it's a deserted place, and he's praying to God to make it a secure city. However, if you go to chapter number 14, the chapter of Abraham happens to be the chapter of Abraham, Surah Ibrahim, verse 35, the Prophet Abraham is making a dua, but this time it suggests that he comes back to Makkah after a long time, and the city has been populated now. And so he makes the dua and says, when Abraham said, my Lord, make Rabbi jal hadhal balad. It's with alif lam. That was without alif lam. Rabbi jal hadha baladan. This is Rabbi jal hadhal balad. Make this city secure. Now there is a city in front of him. Previously he came there was a deserted place. Perhaps he comes back years later, and now it's established into a urban area. Meaning people are populated over there, and so he looks towards that city and says, make this city, right? The language suggests as such. So the question is, why mention this specific dua of Ibrahim when the place was deserted in chapter Surah Baqarah, and why mention the dua of Ibrahim alayhi salam in Surah Ibrahim when the city has been populated? Why not mention this dua over there and this dua over there? Why not replace them, right? Now let's look at the beautiful context and how it fits into the context so beautifully. See, human beings cannot really think about what they said in the past. Even right now, if I speak 10 sentences, I don't know the context of my first, second, third, fourth, not even of my ninth sentence, right? I'm just talking, I'm just constantly thinking forward. I don't know what's going on in the context of my sentence. But look at the Quran, never edited in the last 1400 years, yet such perfect contextual placement of words. Surah Baqarah, where it says there is this, make this a barren place of Makkah a city, the context is about a place that requires construction, that requires to be built up. Because if you see the very next verse, what does it say? It says, when Ibrahim was raising the foundations of the house. SubhanAllah, it is as though the story is about requiring to build a place that has not been built, and because the next verse talks about Ibrahim was raising the foundations of the house. Subhanallah. However, in Surah Ibrahim, where there is already a city in place, everything is in place. Subhanallah. The context of it, if you see the verses before this verse, are the blessings of Allah. It is Allah who created the heavens and the earth, sent down rain from the sky, produced thereby some fruits, His provision for you, subjected for you ships that sail through. Where do ships sail to? Populated areas. By His command, He subjected for you the sun, the moon, and continuous in orbit, subjected for you the night and the day. He gave you from all that you ask. Of course, you have blessings predominantly in populated areas. And if you should count the favor of Allah, you would not. In the context of blessings, it was more appropriate to mention that supplication of Ibrahim alayhi salam that was in a populated area. But in Surah Baqarah, where it's talking about Ibrahim alayhi salam raising the foundation from the beginning, it's more appropriate to mention the dua in a deserted place. Because even if you see ahead, he's making dua, oh Allah, send a messenger to them, raise a messenger amongst them, send amongst them a messenger. And then even before that, even before this verse, where he makes the dua, Allah is taking an oath as if to say, now you're supposed to go on a project of work. He says, and when we charged Ibrahim and Ismail, purify my house for those who perform tawaf, etc. Now a project is being given to him. It is as though now you're in a deserted place, you need to populate it. Subhanallah. And even if you see the actions within it, he directly asks Allah, give them provision and fruits. Whereas in this dua, where there is already a city, he asks them, Allah, keep them away from worshipping idols. It's not about requiring provisions. It's as though there is a city, now let them not astray from the right path. Subhanallah. Subhanallah. Every word, every dua, like this is not even word, this is the dua. It is as though the language suggests this dua was done in a deserted place, this dua or supplication was done in a populated place. But every dua was placed rightly in the context. It matches with even the environment in the context. Subhanallah. Where there are blessings, it's a populated place. Where it's deserted, it's about building up the foundation. Subhanallah. So this is what I want. I want you to realize the Qur'an is not just random repetition of stories. It's repetition, very purposeful repetitions. Every repetition in the Qur'an, there's a purpose behind it, knocking at your door. It's not just random words. I'll guide you. Guide you how? Why am I even believing in this book? Within the book, like I think told you before, this book itself is the truth. And this book itself contains the evidences for the truth. Subhanallah. So may God give us complete conviction in the Quran as the word of God. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.